Hey everybody, it's Phil Evans with Timber and Rose Realty Group here in Portland, Oregon. And I had a family member just send me this article from The Atlantic titled Why You Should Wait Out the Wild Housing Market. And I think that's a question that's on a lot of people's minds. I know I have a lot of clients and family members that are wondering whether now is the time to get into the real estate market and purchase a house or if they should wait. So the first thing that kind of struck me on this title is that it's completely against everything that we're seeing in our statistics right now. And so, what I wanted to do was kind of take you through this if you are thinking about waiting or jumping in the market yourself. And kind of show you where you can find those statistics very quickly and easily, stay up to date on those, and where you can get more information to make the best choice for you and your family. So I kind of wanted to start out taking a couple of minutes and just kind of going through parts of this article, if you've seen it or not. First of all, The Atlantic is a great publication. I have a lot of respect for it. I know they do their due diligence, but I do completely disagree with the title, and so I kind of wanted to go through that very quickly. One of the things that I liked about this, the author's name is Derek Thompson, and he, talks about kind of the crazy stories that we all hear in the market. And in this one, he starts out this kind of crazy story about this woman who pledged to name her firstborn child after the seller, and she still didn't get the house. So I want to address this first. I see this in a lot of these articles, whether they be through a national publication like the New York Times or something like that, and there's always kind of that crazy scenario, right? Like there was 60, 70, 80 offers, 100 offers on a house, and it went for $1 million over list, or whatever the crazy story is. And I just want you to remember that these are stories that are pulled out because they're wild. This is not the norm. So don't think that every single buyer in the market is offering to name their firstborn child and still not winning. It's really not that crazy as far as out there. We are seeing a lot of creative offers out there as far as people offering maybe $1,000 or something like that for helping the sellers move, giving a lot of rent back time for free. We do see people waiving inspections and appraisals. The appraisal waiver is something to do with your lender. So ask them if you're able to do that. And the inspection waivers is a possibility if you know there's nothing wrong with the house. At Timber and Rose Realty Group, at this point in time, we do not suggest that you ever waive an inspection, but we do have strategies that help our buyers be more competitive than other buyers. On average, our offers are getting in within their first few offers. And so whenever we hear about somebody who's making many, many, many offers, that's always a little heartbreaking for us because we know that it doesn't have to be that way. So we do have different ways that we do that. But getting into things, so I disagree with him kind of, starting to scare everybody by saying this is how crazy the market is. And by the way, that was in Maryland. Okay, it was a Maryland resident. A lot of this articles are by people on the East Coast. Some of our biggest markets, in fact, Portland was just rated as the fourth most competitive market in the country, and the markets above them, above Portland, is San Jose and San Francisco still. So, the West Coast still is one of the most hot markets, most expensive. Idaho is super hot. Washington is still very, very desirable. And so it's interesting that a lot of these things are coming from the East Coast, which again tells you that nationally, as a whole country, we're seeing a very strong seller's market. So one thing I do agree with the author of this article on is that he notes that everything is at all-time records. We have record high prices as far as homes. That's absolutely true in Portland. And we have record low interest rates, and that's absolutely also true. At the time of this video that I'm shooting, this is in June of 2021, and there was supposed to be talk about the Federal Reserve raising interest rates up to 4% by December. I now just heard last week that there is talk about interest rates not rising, and even possibly going back down to the numbers that they are below now, which is around 3.2% currently this week. So things are always changing, and that's the point that I want you guys to remember, and also that things aren't changing as fast as you might think. So that's kind of the first thing I wanted to go over, is that some of this article I do agree with, but there's a lot of things in here I don't necessarily agree with. Another thing, if you're reading this article, that I want you to understand, is that most economists believe that the market is not changing anytime soon. When you look at the number of people taking out home loans versus the amount of inventory of homes available on the market, it's far, far heavier to number of people wanting to buy a home by the thousands. So that's why most economists that I've heard speak this last year, they say that there's really no end in sight. And that's one of the things here, this economist here who talks about this, he says, it's not clear to at all to me that things are going to slow down significantly in the near future. So when you compare that to the title of why you should wait, but yet he's also admitting that things are not going to slow down significantly in the near future, that's why I feel like the title was so misleading. And this is a better picture of what most economists are saying about the local market, at least in Portland, Oregon. So he talks about in 2005, when the market was crazy, right before the recession. He said that he knew things would turn out ugly, and that was because people were getting what we call skeleton loans. So they were being given loans on homes they could not afford. Then what happened in 2007, 8, 9, 10, and onwards, home loans became more difficult to obtain. You had to really be able to prove that you could afford that home. And so that's why today anybody buying a house, even though we have all these buyers in the market, they can afford those homes. And that's why we don't see a housing bubble. So if anybody at work or at school or your family members tell you, oh, we're in a housing bubble and you should wait, you can remind them that there is no bubble. The people that have been buying homes since 2010 have very much been able to afford those homes, and they're not going to lose them through a recession, just like we saw through the COVID recession, that did not necessarily put a lot of REO properties on the market. So he says, today I don't have a sense of that at all, because all the fundamentals are there. Demand will be high for a while because millennials need houses, and prices will keep rising for a while because inventory is so low. Inventory will continue to be low, especially if interest rates continue to go up. He says the only places where McBride is the economist, said that he could envision a bubble bursting in locations where urban residents bought second homes in a panic. And that's is going to be places like in small towns in New England and beach towns on the East Coast. So again, really, if you're looking to buy in Portland, Oregon, then there is no bubble. Again, there's not going to be any change in the market that we see in the near future. And then he says, if you want to know where real estate prices are going in the next month, he said the key metric is inventory. And in just a second here, I'm going to switch over and show you where you can keep track of your inventory numbers and how to understand what that means. The last thing I want to kind of talk about with this article is that it talks about this idea here. The author says, he says at the end of the conversation, I presented McBride with a scenario that he heard several times from friends and on the internet, right? So we all know how people like to talk on the internet, and who knows how solid that information is or not. But he's basically gives out this scenario where people are just, they're looking. But there's one key thing here that I want you to pay attention to, and it says you've put in several offers. Okay, guys, if you and your friends are putting in several offers and you're not being successful on buying a house, then there's something wrong. And you need to figure out what's wrong with your offer. And you either need to, make a change on that, or decide that you can't necessarily compete right now with the type of house that you're trying to get. Give us a call or a text, or not a text, but you can reach out by us by phone or email, and we're more than happy to talk with you about what could be going wrong with your offers. We did just have a client who reached out to us who lost 20 times on offers. That's not uncommon, unfortunately, but it's not because of the market. It's because the offers that are being presented are not being presented correctly. And so, with our clients, we really don't have clients that go more than 3 times. And the reason why is because the first time is very common for first time home buyers to not want to overpay on a house. And so they don't take our recommendation on what it's going to take to win against multiple offers. And so they just don't offer enough and they lose. That's common and that's normal. The second time, it's possible that an all cash buyer will come in and knock everybody out of the competition. And that's also common. And then the third time, usually our clients are saying, okay, we don't want to lose a third house. We're ready to do what it takes to win the offer. And so really most of our clients, the far majority, get their offers within the first or second offer that they make. Some of our clients have to do a third, and we did have one client who had to do a fourth. But if you have had to make more than offers than that, then please reach out to us, and we're more than happy to help you be more successful in the future. So anyway, so that's kind of what I want to talk about. That there's a couple scenarios here. One, you should not be making a ton of offers, even in this crazy market, with the right real estate agent and the right strategy. And then secondly, this market is not going anywhere. If you want to be a homeowner, it's better to get in now and then have the hot market, accelerate your equity over the next few years than paying so much more in the future. And we can kind of talk about what you might pay in the future here in a second. So let me jump over to our website. This is timberandrose.com, and we are a Portland metro real estate company that we work everywhere from Forest Grove to Gresham to Wilsonville, all the way up to North Portland. So anywhere in there, we track these stats, and right here on our bar here, you can have a market update button. Is always updated. And what this does is this brings up the publication that comes directly from our RMLS, which is the software that we put our listings directly into. So this is directly from the source information. And right here, you're going to get a quick summary of everything that's going on. How many new listings are coming up? That's new listings. How many pendings means the percentage basically are selling. There's a lot of properties sitting or if things are moving quickly. Total market time, how fast things are selling, okay? And then I'll make another video about kind of understanding these stats. But for now, you can just kind of click on this, read this. Here's inventory in months. And inventory in months, as you can see, is going down. And it's been going down since January 2019, okay? It's going down, 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 down. It went up a little bit for a couple months, and then it shot back down to 1, 0.8, and 0.7. Basically, what 1.0 months of inventory means is that if there were no new homes that came on the market tomorrow, that in 30 days time, in 1 month, there would be no more homes at all on the market. Everything would be bought up. And what that tells us basically is how many buyers versus how many homes are on the market. And a balanced market is 6 months, just to give you an idea of how deep we are into a seller's market, which means that there's more buyers than there are homes for sale. The sellers kind of have the negotiating power, if you will. But this number keeps dropping. And that's not a great thing as far as inventory numbers goes, as far as it getting back up closer to what we call an even balanced market. So what does this mean? It means that there are a lot of buyers in the market. If you are a buyer, there is a lot of competition, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't get in the market. And it certainly doesn't mean that you should wait for the market to cool off. The market is not going to cool off anytime soon. Here's another thing that we look at statistics. It kind of talks month to month. So for 2021, the month of April versus May, you can kind of see actually we had slightly about the same, really, number of new listings, but you're going to see different percentages going up and down. Okay, so for example, previous month we saw, it went down 2.3%. That sounds like a ton, but really we're talking, about 100 listings or something like that. It's really not huge in the scheme of things, month to month. So anyway, so check out this market report. Again, you can find it on our website, timberandrose.com. At the bottom here, we also have events, and we always have this Portland home buying guide that you can check out. It's every month. And this is a great place for you to learn how to be more competitive. So join us there if you want. The other thing that you should know about is waiting will cost you more money. And why will it cost you more money? As you can see here with the average and median sales price, we can take, that it's 18.9% from 21 to 20 through May. Okay, so that's year over year. And the median sale price they have, it's increased 17%. So even if we take the smaller number and we say, okay, a year ago, prices were 17% less, basically. Anybody that bought a year ago has had their value of their properties increase 17%. And on average in Portland, Oregon, is usually about 5%. Some years it's 3%. Some years it jumps up to like 8%. But on average is 5%. Last year it was 17%. And if you take the average price, it's 18.9%. And so what this means is that this next year, because it's just as hot as last year, it's absolutely going to be just as high. All the economists are saying. And so if we just say, okay, it's going to be about 17% again increase in values next year. If I wait for the market to cool off, I'm going to be paying 17% more in home values next year. However, there's another statistic that you have to know about, and that's the 1% to 10% rule. Now, here on this article, they have 11%, but basically what the idea is that for every 1% increase in interest rates, you lose 10% buying power on a house. So if you add that 10%, assuming that interest rates do go up, let's say we wait and in December, interest rates are at 4% or 1% higher than they are today, like they were expected to be, then you've lost 10% of your buying power. Plus, you're now paying 17% or close to whatever that number ends up being more for your house. So now you're potentially paying 27% more, or you've lost 27% of the amount of house that you can afford. So if you can afford a $400,000 house, then just deduct 27% from that, and that's the house that you can afford a year from now. So for all these reasons, it's really important that you know that waiting in this market is not the way to go. The best thing that you can do is contact us, and we will guide you through how to purchase a home and get in as soon as possible, so that you can really benefit from the 17% rise in home values for the next couple of years. So, all right, guys, if you have any questions, please reach out to us. I'm Phil at timberandrose.com. You can contact us through our website, timberandrose.com, and please let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.